Is this place haunted?
Yes.
Ginger beer.
yeah. So,
Is Steve in this story?
no.
The peacocks are not involved.
No,
Yes,
man.
Steve Tucker's in it.
Obviously, you know,
Should we dim the lights?
we're there. I mean,
Ouija.
man,
I'm
gonna preface the story with saying that I'm not big on ghosts or spirits or any of that. Like I just, you know,
You don't believe in the paranormal?
I'm not gonna say that
right now.
I'm not gonna say that I don't believe. I just give or take, you know.
Yeah.
But
I think that's most people.
we, you know, sometimes are there super late, and this one particular night I was there closing up.
Was it a dark, dreary night?
Oh, I mean, you know, yeah, it was dark, you know. Got all the I got all the lights off and whatnot, you know, and it's just me in this giant space by myself, and it was really late, but I'm sitting there and I'm doing orders and all that for the next day and the next couple of days, and I went and got myself a ginger beer, which is a twist off, and so, you know, I open it, take me a swig, and I continue to do my paperwork, and I go back to get. I'm on the line, by the way, in the back of the house. I'm on the line on the pass, you know, mapping my stuff out, and I go back to get a sip of my ginger brew, and when I get it, like, I just get really cold, and then I look at my ginger brew, and the lid is on my ginger brew.
How many hours did you put in that day?
Dude, I'm telling you right now. All right, so like it had been kind of crazy because there had been a couple things that like I thought to myself, all right, like the doors often like move to and fro, like the swinging doors, because of the air vents and things like that.
Sure.
And but for whatever reason, we have like a first aid kit in front of one of those doors, kind of off to the side, and that door swung open at one point. And so this, like I just kind of
sturdy tin door.
Yeah, it's pretty sturdy, and it's not really in the way of any wind. And to myself, I was just like, I reasoned it. I was like, yeah, it was totally just the wind. You know, it was most of the way open, probably. In my mind, I was like, yeah, it was closed, but I just saw it swing open. It's fine, whatever. I didn't think anything of it.
Wait, this is separate, or
no? This is the same night.
This is during.
No, this is the same night. This is the same night.
Incident.
This is the same night. This is before all that. And so all this kind of stuff was happening, and then I reach over and I grab my ginger brew and I bring it to my face and I look at it and it's closed.
Yeah.
And I had gotten this crazy chill, and like I had gotten this chill, but I mean we have hood vents and there's like a return air kind of thing that blows air. So I was like, maybe it just blew cold air on me. That's why I got chills. But when I saw the lid on oh, dude, I've never opened a bottle and put the cap. Who opens a bottle and puts the cap back on?
Nobody.
Who does that?
That's crazy shit.
I
do
literally.
Well, you're crazy, Jackson.
I literally called at the time our CDC and I was like, "Hey, man, I'm gonna finish these orders at my house," and I left. I didn't change. I was like, this is how people die in the movies. I was like, I'm not going to be one. I'm not one of them. And I left. I locked up and I left.
So the property's got some history, right?
A lot.
Yeah.
Oh,
How
man.
So
old
much.
is that?
1893.
It was when
Yeah.
the house was built, and at the time the house was on a 23-acre property, and now it's 6.5.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
there's
So
what, like
Is
6?
anyone buried on that property?
probably, man. I mean,
Probably.
There's been a lot of
recently-
deaths recorded on the
comment.
property.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
apparently, before it became a bed and breakfast, like they would care for people at that house because it was so big.
Like a hospital.
It was not really a hospital, but
It was like room for rent in a way.
kind of.
Okay.
And we were like
Bring
a
your sick and poor.
Texas. We had hired help. There's a really
That's a way to say
steep staircase coming out of. So one of our private dining rooms actually used to be like the helps quarters, and there's a very steep staircase coming out of it that I think 2 people have died on.
Yeah.
No way. I
So
didn't
like,
know that.
Yeah, that one with all the like fancy
Yeah,
wording of
yeah.
like "be kind to those on your way down" and whatever. 2 people have died falling down those stairs, and I fell down those stairs my first day at work there.
The crazy thing about it is most people that see people like that see these ghosts or anything.
apparition.
Yeah, and I was gonna use apparition. I didn't know if it was apropos, but these apparitions, they always describe them in the same way, like these like kind of lacy white or like
At
usually.
Matties.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
usually like the women
What do
are
you
always
mean
in
these
white.
people you just breezed over? So this is
Strangers.
people see things there
Oh
all the
man,
time,
oh
yeah.
man, all the
all
time.
the time.
We
Yeah.
literally had like
These
We had
are
a medium like 2
guests?
yeah, we have
months
medium.
ago.
We have mediums
We've had
come
multiple.
and been like, "Hey, can we come?" And sometimes we're like, "Dude, we're in the middle of service. No, you can't just come and like do a reading." But we've had
reading?
But we've had guests be like,
That's a
"Hey, I think I just saw like," and it'll just, it's generally like towards the end of the night. But yeah, we have had guests be like, "Yo, man, this place is."
And what do you guys think?
I believe it.
I'm very agnostic about these kind of beliefs, but I've seen it and I've felt it. So
I'm
like
sure
a couple
it's-
things, like
Yeah, go
I've
ahead.
been like locking up the restaurant and put my hand on a doorknob and had it like it just shake uncontrollably. There's nobody there.
That's freaky.
Less than a month ago, I was locking up. It must have been about. It was after midnight, I'd say, and so there's this. We described the layout of the kitchen. It's not like it's blocked off so much. It's just that there are doorways and walls. I'm on one side of one of these walls, and I hear a whistling on the other. So I poke my head around the corner, and there's nobody there. And
It's not Kasey and
Red.
Pastries.
No, it's not.
No, because we're at literally opposite ends of the day
Yeah.
at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's also like a separate house that's completely
couple.
separate. So we used to have 2 separate houses. One of them isn't there anymore, but we have one that's kind of like off to the back behind like the garden area where like you generally kind of park. There's like that white house out there.
Yeah.
And which is actually like a Texas state
Monument,
monument.
yeah.
And that house has been there forever, and people always see the same guy dressed in like
Matties is haunted.
they always see the same guy at night just kind of hanging out, and he's always like posted up in between that house and like the dumpster area.
Yeah.
Just kind of standing there, and they look at him,
And
just
he's
gone.
usually
Is that the
smoking.
guy in the white
Yeah.
suit?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
he's in a white suit.
We've had people who, we don't have a massive staff. We have a large staff. We've had people who have seen this apparition, if you want to call it that, within like the same couple days, and they don't know each other. They've never spoken. They don't know that each other exists, but like word has gotten around that the 2 of them saw the exact same thing a couple days apart. And so as far as like,
I'm not into like spirits or
Yeah.
anything,
Yeah.
but these kind of things
I
happen.
You
guess
just
this
see
is
it.
kind of like the disclaimer that you keep
Yeah.
putting
So-
out there because I'm gonna say
I don't believe it, but it's real.
yeah.
I'm just saying, like,
Okay.
And like I had,
you don't want to buy into the whole like because it's entertaining
Yeah.
to a lot of people to hear.
No,
about
but there is
ghosts and
something.
Oh, no,
I
man,
mean,
but
well,
people-
it
we've
goes
had-
beyond entertaining sometimes because
it's a thing,
like
man.
I one time I was locking up on a Monday and I'd been seeing some strange shit throughout the day.
There's
like
always something in your
shadows-
peripheral.
Yeah, or like shadows dancing on walls that didn't have any light cast on them, for example. Things like that. Like it just didn't make sense.
Yeah.
And I was locking up. It was getting dark, and I realized I left the oven on. So I opened up the door. I walk inside, and I was wearing my jacket. It was cold. Like I'd give you a demonstration, but it wouldn't really matter for a podcast. But I had something grabbed my jacket by the hood and pulled it really, really hard. And so in my mind, kind of like what David was saying with his story, I justified it. Like I was like, oh shit, there's like a squirrel or a bird or a mouse or something in my jacket. So I took my jacket off and I threw it on the ground and I stomped on it, and there was nothing. There was absolutely nothing. Something had totally grabbed my coat, and of course, like every single hair on my arms, my neck, everything was standing straight up, and I was chilled to the bone. So I turned the oven off and I locked the door and I walked out, and I was like, there's got to be a logical, reason as to why this happened. And I'm still trying to figure that out. And again, so we're talking about like the history. We're talking about like the guys who have worked there forever. If you ask Porfy about ghosts,
man, he has
he's just
tons
like,
of stories,
he's like,
man.
yeah, they're here.
Yeah, he used to say that. Yeah,
cool.
man, he was like, yeah, man, I would come here, and he used to come in at like 4 a.m, and he would just hear chuckling.
Yeah.
Just chuckling, and he would be the only person there, and like stuff would fall out, and still like to this day, like sometimes like stuff just like falls for no reason.
That
Stuff
did
will
happen,
just
I forgot
fall,
about
and
that.
and like it's throughout the day, and it's when I first started, and I was like, you kind of hear these kind of things, and it's like again like whatever, but now I'm just like completely comfortable with it. Like I'll be there by myself at 1 a.m, doing closing stuff, like reports and stuff like that, and
Weird
it's fine.
stuff
Like
happened.
like I notice things like that, and I'm just like, oh man, that happened, but I'm just like, what?
It's like dogs
Have
and
you
bees. just
had
go out when they're
anything like
scared.
this? Like that sticks out?
I am a personal believer in ghosts, and I feel like I've kind of really tried to see it, but on the days that I haven't actually focused on it, things have happened. Like maybe a month ago, me and my coworker were in, and it was like 8 a.m, and we'd kind of been hearing like a kitchen is loud. I mean, we have like ice machines and hood vents and like stuff that just goes on all day. So
if you can, if you try to be quiet in the kitchen.
yeah,
then you'll
and like
see
a
just
lot
how
of the
loud it
times
is.
she and I will just be like, oh, okay, like that's just like the ice machine making noises,
Sure.
but it's 8 o'clock in the morning and we are the only 2 people in the kitchen, and there's a fucking like clank, and we look at each other and we poke our heads around the corner, and as we spoke earlier, the kitchen is perpendicular, like our kitchen is perpendicular to the line, and knives just fell off of the line. Like
Knives.
there were knives on the floor out of their sheaths. It was Jackson's like chef's knife on the floor off of his sheath, and it's like our low boys aren't working like ruckusly. Like there's nothing that would have promoted this knife to have just fallen onto the floor, especially, and then like the sheath is like 5 feet away from his knife that we're like cool. And like I come in on Sunday mornings and I'm there by myself for an hour and a half or whatever usually, and 50% of the time I'm like, all right, this is cool. But there is 50% of the time that I'm just like, I am constantly seeing movements out of my peripheral vision that I'm like,
That's
sometimes it's shadows, and I always just try to rationalize on that, but I'm like, there are also times that there is nothing that should have made a shadow at this point.
sure. Is there like a history that people like say, oh, this is, you see this man smoking, it's Ralph
Why?
from,
So there was a medium that came by. I don't know the specific circumstances. From what I was told.
Oh no, she literally just drove.
No, she
by the
just
road
drove
and
by. It was like,
pulled in.
I feel something, and
Yeah.
she drove in.
So there is a.
it was drawn.
So
Yeah.
we have a private dining room, and there is a large mirror, and there
This is
a
upstairs
sort
in the
of
house.
inexplicable about.
the helps quarters that I was.
Maybe it was a
talking about.
small hand, but it was likely, possibly, a child's hand on this mirror. Like there's a handprint that
handprint, okay.
cannot be removed.
No, it's always.
I don't know how mirrors
It's
are
there
made.
right now.
So okay,
Yeah.
so about this handprint, like every staff member has seen it, and
they
it's like no matter
wipe
how
it
much
down.
you clean that mirror,
It'll be
there's
there the
always
next
a
day.
handprint, and it's not in
Yeah.
the same place. There's always
But it's like
a,
smudges.
like a small, and
That's
it's just
creepy.
like, and it's
Yeah.
like, and it's not like one handprint. It's like, like someone's
they'll
been
like
pawing
smudge
at
it
it.
along the like the lower edge
Yeah.
of the mirror or something.
it's almost like someone's
You're
been-
telling me that this moves around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever, and
Practically.
so there's also like So there's the man in the tuxedo that you see downstairs outside
A cigar.
the other house, and then inside there's a small girl and a grown woman that you see upstairs. Generally, is what people
Has
see.
anyone ever done any kind of research?
I've never seen any of these like
like a history
apparitions or
Actual-
anything. I've only experienced what I told you earlier about the ginger beer, but these like multiple
Right, but if you
accounts.
guys were to dig into like maybe the history of like people who've lived there
Yeah.
or come and gone, has anybody
Yeah.
ever discovered something?
Well,
that-
but that's kind of the thing tying into like the greater history of the property is that there's so much of
Yeah,
it. There's
might
so
be hard
much
to
history.
pinpoint.
Well, it's not even that; it's just that it goes undocumented.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
we've had
yeah.
people show up and say like, "Hey,
Every
my
medium has a different story,
yeah,"
but it all kind of makes sense.
It does. And then also, like, the most recent medium said something about children, which maybe this is a coincidence, being, whatever.
but
giving
she
them the
sensed
doubt.
it in the room
Yeah.
where the handprints were showing.
And then
up
there's
on
the handprint.
mirror.
And she didn't know that was there. Like,
Yeah.
that's a pretty fat coincidence. But as far as, like the history, so, like,
I'm gonna preface it, again. I don't generally believe in this stuff, but
But he
Yeah.
also totally does
so we've had...
I don't.
because it's super weird.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
so if you're working at Matties, you also get to do this. You get mediums coming
We
through
do.
Yeah.
in the middle
So,
of
I
surface, right?
Also wanted to throw this out there. We are talking about reoccurring ghosts. There's the lady with the parasol
there is a lady with the
Wait,
parasol.
what?
who perouses the
Yeah.
peruses the like a sun umbrella.
Yeah.
Oh,
a light
Yeah, it's
umbrella.
like a little umbrella.
A sun
accessory.
umbrella.
We also like accessorizing at Matties.
Very much so.
Yes. So, who is generally wandering the front grounds near the actual entrance
When
to
does
the
this
restaurant?
happen?
So
At night. Everything happens at
usually,
night. I'm always gone.
what I've heard is it's early in the morning, and for the most part, people who I have spoken to who have seen her, who have seen the exact same thing, years apart sometimes, see her through a window from within the building. So, for example, our former GM is a rep of ours. He's told me that he saw somebody once, 6 or 7 in the morning, wandering around the front yard when he was up in the dining room upstairs. And so he was like, oh, well, they aren't supposed to be here. So he walked downstairs, walked down the front lawn, they disappeared. As well as our former executive chef, Josh Chalmers. He just like ourselves, or David and I, maybe. I don't know about you, Kasey, but rather agnostic about the ghost believing.
Oh no, I'm a full believer.
Yeah, okay, there we go. That's what I said. So, rather agnostic. So, he had heard about these things, and he started working there. At this time, also, there were very, very few people working at this restaurant. He wandered in the restaurant early in the morning and out loud said, this is what I was told, "This is not my space. It is yours. I'm just passing through." And out of nowhere, with no prompt, him being the only person in the restaurant, the music through the speakers just turned on full blast for about 45 seconds and then cut off. He also, at one point
Yeah, he told me
early
that, yeah.
on,
That's crazy.
same thing that I described from our former GM from several years ago before Matties, through the window from the hallway outside of the kitchen saw the lady with the parasol. I've heard it from other folks who I know who just work in the front of the house.
Oh yeah, and if you've ever met Josh Thomas, he's definitely not gonna BS about any of that kind of stuff.
No.
He's not just in
Yeah,
it for the show.
he's not gonna. Yeah,
Gosh.
Holy
So
hell.
spooky.
yeah.
Spooky stuff.
But it's a really cool place to eat and work, and I guarantee you, it's never followed me home.
I'm the only
and,
person who's ever been touched.
It's
And if
safe there.
and if anything, they'll just they'll help season your food, and
You are listening to the haunted Halloween edition of the Austin All Day podcast. I'm Jason Powers, and telling these ghost stories are Chef David, Jackson, and Kasey from Matties. Go follow the podcast on Instagram, watch it on YouTube, sit back, grab a drink, and check it out. Matty's Green Pasture.
Yes.
You
Are
guys should-
we doing it?
We're doing it.
We
So
are
Matties at Green Pastures.
It used to
at-
be. It used to be Green Pastures, and then when we renovated and
So it's
reopened,
Matties?
it's Matties.
Okay.
But at the same time, our event space is
Green
Green
Pastures.
Pastures.
Yeah,
Most
we get-
locals will know Green Pastures.
Yeah, you can't do away
Yeah.
with Green Pastures. It's
Oh, I thought most locals would know Matty's.
no. It's
No.
reversed. Like it, like
Okay.
so. If I take like a lift to or fro, the
or fro.
the driver will be like, "Where are you going?" I'm like, "Matty's," and they're like, "I don't know what that is," and I'm like, "Green Pastures," and I'm like, "Oh, okay."
I was there 20 years
Yeah.
ago
So would
for a
Matty's
brunch.
be more like the restaurant?
Yeah.
Yes.
So when we opened the reason why they did it was kind of to split it and give the restaurant its own identity from like the event space because there's so many weddings and things.
Sure. Okay. And we're here with Chef David, Kasey, and Jackson,
Yes.
Correct.
the whole crew. And you guys just came from brunch service.
We did.
We did.
Everybody?
Three of us. Yeah.
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 Yeah, it was actually a rare Sunday. I haven't had David on the line for brunch in about 2 months, 3 months.
Ooh.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
got him in there?
Yeah.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Town and
It
dirty.
was a good time. It used to be a much more common thing, but
Yeah.
too busy.
How's that brunch? Is that a newer thing, or you guys been doing that for a while?
Oh no, we started it about I want to say 2 years ago. We were about a year. We went almost a full year without brunch, and then we slid it in,
And-
it's just been rolling since. Yeah,
Yeah, good.
yeah. Just Saturdays and Sundays though. That's it.
So explain to me a little bit about Matty's at Green Pastures.
And there's a lot.
Well, give me the summary for anybody who's not familiar.
I think the what we're known for, I mean, besides the food and the house, is the peacocks.
Yeah.
I think that the real gem of the property is the peacocks as well as the house. I mean, it's in a mansion that's a certified state historical monument, right? Yeah. Built in 1893.
1893. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
So people stay there?
So it used to be a residence that became a bed and breakfast.
Bed.
Bed and breakfast. Yeah.
Looks like it would be a gorgeous bread and breakfast.
Yeah. And it just kind of took off.
Do you guys like riff on that for the brunch menu at all, or no?
Actually, so there is a Mary Faulkner cookbook. That's pretty well known, I guess, around town. Like,
Okay.
it's like a southern
I'm
and
not familiar, but
and it's just kind of like an old school southern cookbook that
Yeah, she's the one that turned it into the restaurant side of.
she was one of the
Oh, okay.
owners. Yeah.
Yeah. That was
She's
in
still-
the 60s. Yeah.
is she still around?
No.
Okay, cool.
But all of the streets, like around on the south side, Mary and Elizabeth, those are all the kids.
Those are all the
whole
grandchildren
family
and things
of
like that.
Our property.
Oh, I did not know that.
I know it's a cool
That
little
is cool.
tidbit.
Yeah.
There's Peacock Street down off of South First, and that's
I wonder if
part of our.
Elizabeth Street Cafe has any idea.
Probably not.
Probably
Right.
not. There's so much just deep history from
Yeah.
the restaurant and what it means to that.
You
And
guys are
actually-
spooking me out.
Yeah, actually, like Live Oak Street is like based off of like I believe the property because there's I think over 50 live oak trees
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
on the property.
Yeah. You guys take pride in those.
Oh
I mean,
yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, they're
Old,
treated like royalty.
Wow, yeah.
I mean,
As
you've
well as-
seen you've seen it from the front, right? Like driving in.
No, I've actually been stopped. I have driven in. And I've
And
been,
turned around.
yeah, I've been stopped because the truck is so tall.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah.
Yeah. When they're like, the trees.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Oh yeah,
can't
they're
take down the
protected.
trees.
They're,
Yeah.
they're protected.
So, has anyone ever hurt those trees like that?
Oh yeah, we've had
Oh,
like newbie delivery drivers kind of come in there and like
Wow.
just try to punch through, and it's like, no man, you gotta turn around. There's like, I got this, and they'll just punch through, and
Yeah.
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 That's,
Yeah, that and the critical root zones, places that people can't park
oh,
in
okay.
proximity to the trees.
Yeah,
I've
you-
never even heard of something like
yeah,
that.
you can't be anywhere around the root system of the trees.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So you guys obviously got that all fenced off or blocked off, however.
You just-
No?
No.
People.
I mean,
gotta know.
we pretty much have everything just kind of worked around it.
All right. Well, what do you guys? What's your roles there, Chef David? What are you
Yeah, I'm
doing?
the chef de cuisine there.
Chef de cuisine. Kasey,
I lead our pastry department.
pastries.
I cook
I cook.
food.
I do it. Yes. Get on the get down and dirty.
Yeah,
So, are you the pastry chef there?
She is.
you are.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I am.
Give yourself some credit for
Oh,
once.
thank you.
And how's the pastry department there?
I love it. Before I started there, we kind of got to take on savory rolls as well. I mean, not a whole lot, but we definitely get to help out with some of the garde prep, which was a first for me.
But now it's sort of its own thing.
Well, I mean, I think just as a pastry chef, I mean, we're kind of always secluded from whatever the rest is going on in the restaurant.
Sure.
But since it was already thrust on us and getting to know like how to make a proper salad dressing,
Yeah.
the number of pastry cooks that don't know how to do that
Sure.
is just like, oh, cool. This
Yeah,
is-
it is pretty interesting, like having the pastry team like do
Yeah, we have
prep
like
stuff like
our
that. Yeah, like the-
quiche and a few things on the menus, and
It's good though, right?
Yeah.
it's a good
oh, yeah.
infusion.
It rounds out the experience, so you kind of
yeah.
know how it should flow, I guess.
Yeah.
I kind of deviated because you guys do a lot of events too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So you have the restaurant Matties. 'Cause I want to kind of get what Matties is real quick. So you have the restaurant, the haunted restaurant. No,
No, very.
there's
haunted.
also
It is
that.
very haunted.
okay, we'll touch on that. But then the Green Pastures is more or less for events such as weddings and what
Yeah.
have you.
Lots of
So
weddings.
you guys are all part of that, right? It's a big catering operation.
Yeah. It's the same
Yeah.
staff, same space, everything.
So
yeah,
now,
no catering. It's all on property.
okay. So you don't consider that like a catering when you do that.
No.
Yeah, no.
Okay. So it all happens there. You guys don't ever go anywhere. Okay. And how does that? Do you guys shut the place down? Obviously for those events.
We
sometimes?
will sometimes have like buyouts where people would just rent the entire property for a day,
Okay.
or something like that. But
Okay.
generally, like yesterday, for instance, we had our Saturday night service, and we had
Like a section off.
two different parties going on, like larger parties in the restaurant,
see.
plus a wedding going on.
Oh, wow.
In our reception hall.
So the wedding's going on while people are just at a like regular
Oh,
out
yeah.
to eat.
Yeah.
And that's pretty common.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
We have
Oh,
a
yeah.
hall set off to the side.
It's
and they
completely
get, like, the
it's like
lawn.
in the house, but it's completely separate.
And
from
yeah, that never has like guests never sit there for the restaurant. That's only for weddings.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got it. So it's
Larger
like
parties.
separated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what goes on in this house? You know, I mean, you guys aren't prepping upstairs. I'm sure there's bedrooms. It was a bed and breakfast. What's
so
up
the-
there?
So upstairs is it's a dining room, really.
Mm-hmm.
As well as a bar.
Yeah, we have a second bar upstairs, plus
Is that the special bar?
It's a intimate bar.
yeah. The whole upstairs is a little bit more intimate. Yeah, it's smaller.
Yeah, there's a small room for dining, a larger room for banquets, and then a small bar. We only open the second floor for dining when we're like busy.
So it's huge to have all that, right?
It is. I
You
mean,
say smaller, but
it
that's a
fills
pretty
up.
big-
It
Yeah.
fills up pretty quick. I mean,
Yeah.
because like it's basically half of upstairs is kind of like a lounge. So people go up there and just kind of have drinks at the bar.
Kind of wait for
Yeah.
Yeah,
we
but
got
then
couches.
they can have dinner up there as well, obviously. But people will rent out that lounge area upstairs to have like.
Now I'm guilty. I've not eaten there, but I've had people send me pictures while they're eating there. So I sort of have.
Yeah,
That's fair.
Yeah, you should really
We'll
come see
count
the
it.
place.
I know I should, and I will. This is the part where I get to hold myself accountable because it's being recorded. But I'll definitely do that. And so you're on the line prepping, just general, hustling at Matties.
Yeah, there's a number of things outside of that I do. I mean, for the most part, lately I've spent a lot of time working our sauté station. But I mean, you'll catch me coming in on Mondays when we're actually closed for service. receiving, ordering, straightening, whatever, as well as coming in for prep days, breaking down fish, proteins, whatever. I'd like to think that I move around quite a bit.
Yeah. So on one of the side projects we have going on that Jackson's kind of taking the lead on is we have a huge garden, and we have like Meyer lemon trees, key lime trees, blood orange trees,
Fig tree.
one of the biggest fig trees you'll ever see, bay leaf trees, and so we're kind of renovating that and getting that going.
What is that?
I think it's your iPad.
Me? Oh.
No?
Is it David? Yeah. You didn't silence your phone.
No, fig trees. Wow, figs are.
It's a
those
big fig tree.
Those are
Yeah.
the jam right now, right? They're
It just ended
Oh,
the
it just
season.
ended.
The
Yeah.
season's very brief, but we did what we could with those figs because we had some amazing strawberry figs, which is incredible. They just exploded this tree. We also have bay leaf. I don't know if you mentioned that. We have a number of herbs, cilantro,
A lot of like
dill,
wild garlic,
oregano,
and, yeah,
garlic,
cilantro.
chives. Actually, there's a number of things that sprout up when they feel like they can. It's wild out there, honestly. Like our property is incredible. And there's a number of things that we can count on, like oregano, for example, that if we need it, we can go out, just pick it. Bay
Yeah.
leaf, always. Like we
Yeah,
don't,
like-
we never buy bay leaf. We just go out and pick it.
Yeah, we
It's-
just go and cut it from the.
So, are the oak trees shading the garden area at all?
No, actually, it's like it's. I think it was originally an intentional garden. Like
Okay.
it's,
Oh, yeah.
it's a good quarter acre or so that's just kind of panned off to the side, and that's where all these trees and plants and herbs are. So it's been not necessarily. I guess it went untended for a few years.
It's been
during the
abandoned, like
during the
this-
renovations
yeah.
and things like that. So we've kind of been trying to get back to it. But yeah, there's a lot of like
Yeah.
stuff there.
So part of what I was saying, like the rich history of the restaurant and the property, really, because that they are married, is that we have two gentlemen that work in the kitchen who've been there for 25, 30 plus years.
Wow.
It's crazy.
Since 1982.
Yeah.
That's
Unbelievable. So
That's longer than 25 years. You
Yeah.
say 82?
I don't
Yes,
do math.
1982. Yeah.
He has a lot of strong suits.
I
but
mean,
it's not-
you've met the guy, Porfi, the guy with a pencil fillet knives.
Okay.
Yeah.
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 Porfilio Mondragon.
Wow.
Yeah.
So-
That's a stretch for you.
Honestly, I think that he might be one of the greatest chefs in Austin. You have to at least throw his name in there. And he's completely unknown because he's not an executive chef. He doesn't own a restaurant. He just makes fucking incredible food.
Right.
He's unbelievable. And you'd never know this about him because I could go on and on, but one of the parts of our history is these guys, because so we've had conversations bouncing around about a garden since we opened. And when those conversations actually got serious, we started thinking about like how could we cultivate what we already have and plant more. You can just walk up to Porfi and ask him, or Jose as well, like where were things planted? What did you guys plant? Who planted
That's
them?
pretty cool.
Who built
Yeah.
this? When? And they'll just tell you like, yeah, man, there was according to Porfi and Jose as well, as that there was a chef about, I want to say 15, 20 years
it was
ago.
it was the executive chef twice removed, I believe.
Yeah, at least something like that. It's so he built Garden Box. He planted the majority of the trees. He planted most of the bamboo that you see on the property. He planted a lot of the herbs. He built a greenhouse, which we also have, which it's not really useful right now. So I went in, I cleaned it out, but we haven't gotten it like in working order yet. But that's something I think that we'll be using in the spring.
What they say was in there? What are you going to put in there?
It was kind of just so basically that was used to start plants.
Yeah,
So
mostly
they
for
would kind of
seedlings.
just like seedlings, and
Yeah.
like once you got them
And
going,
then
you-
move them in.
yeah.
They also, from what I've heard, they grew a lot of flowers, and they would shelter flowers from frost in there.
And they would
cold
also, I guess, use it, and it makes sense now. Like once they told me, but they would use it and pack it full of hay during the winter, and the peacocks would nest in there.
Oh,
Yeah.
So now,
Peacocks.
but because it's kind of been neglected, the peacocks roost in the large live oak next to it.
that would be cool if they remember if you guys throw hay in there. Right?
I mean,
Right.
I bet you they would. I
Yeah.
mean, because some of those
Some of
peacocks, I
them
mean,
would.
they've
Ingrained.
been there
Yeah.
forever.
apparently, what I've heard is that they live like 20 years sometimes.
Wow, that's
It's unbelievable. Like
that's crazy.
they have an incredibly rich history, and they've adapted. They've been around, and now that there's a bustling restaurant there, newer restaurant. I mean, we're over 2 years, 2.5 now. There's a lot of concern from neighbors whenever the peacocks roam around, but the truth is that those peacocks have been in that neighborhood on that property longer than a lot of us have been alive. It's
Oh, the neighbors that haven't even been there 3 years, 4 years, or
Yeah,
Maybe,
it's
maybe.
usually,
I don't know.
it's typically like new people to the neighborhood are like,
Sure.
hey, there's
Yeah,
there's a peacock
yeah.
wandering around.
Yeah.
They just roam, and a lot of the neighbors they put up signs saying like "peacocks welcome," and
Yeah. 'cause
w-
some
whatever.
I would do
Some
that
of the
if I
neighbors
lived
try
there.
to
Yeah.
start wars.
Yeah, a
and
lot.
go to the
I mean,
city.
They do.
with leaving work today, like people just come and will bring family and friends from out of town and just literally use the property like a park, and just go and look at the peacocks and
Yeah.
So I gotta ask, and I don't mean to go down this road, but with all the restaurant and the popularity, has anything bad happened to it? Any peacocks, like
Yeah.
we did have one instance.
with like a car or something?
No, we had an instance with somebody that took a dog, and the dog kind of
Didn't
just
even think of the dog.
yeah, the dog kind of went crazy, and the lady didn't know.
The peacocks
The
were there.
person didn't know like what the property was, and the dog just took off after a peacock.
Oh, wow.
It didn't
I'm
kill the
surprised-
peacock. It did more
didn't?
damage
Well-
actually to the person that did the peacock.
There was one time that
We've
a
lost
peacock
a few peacocks.
Yeah.
did get killed by a
We
dog.
do, but the neighborhood also has like foxes and things like that.
Feral
Yeah.
cats.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that love our property. But tell me
Yeah.
about Steve, the Ballad of
Oh,
Steve.
yeah,
We have a
speaking
very famous peacock.
Oh,
Who-
his name is Steve.
His name is Steve.
It is.
He had a
lot
dessert.
A lot of us have grown very fond of the peacocks. I've given them all names and personalities. But last January, when we got, I don't know if you remember, down to, I think, 18 degrees and solid frost for 2 or 3 days. Because I work in the mornings, I'm there first, and we just got a knock on our door around 7:30 in the morning, and it was animal control asking if these were our peacocks. And I was like, sure, certainly. What's going on? And he just brings us out to his truck, and one of the peacocks is in one of his little kennels, and it got frozen to the road overnight during like the ice storm. Just
That's brutal.
yeah, because they still had all of their long tail
But he
feathers, so his
got
tail
'em up.
feathers got stuck, and the animal control came, and some
He
of the
retrieved
neighbors
them.
were concerned and called animal control, and he scooped him up and
Scraped him up pretty much.
yeah, scraped him up.
Brought him in.
Brought him to
warm
us.
Warm up inside.
Well, also, where do you put a peacock in a restaurant? Because that's not sanitary.
Yeah. Sure.
We had a lot of rundown houses on the property from it being so old that we kind of stored him there for the day, figuring out what to do with him because he was not doing very well. And one of our old employees actually was like, I've got chickens at home. I'll take this peacock with me.
So is that where Steve is?
No, we got
Oh,
him
that-
back, but
was that Steve?
she wrapped him up, took him to her house, blow dried him, got him back because it was
Yeah.
supposed to get down to like 15 again that night. He wasn't going to survive the night if we left him
Wow.
anywhere exposed to the elements. He still has a limp from where his leg got stuck to the road.
He
but
got like frostbite on one
Yeah.
of his paws or whatever. you call 'em.
What a bummer.
Yeah, and he has like a funky feather that sticks out.
Yeah.
That's why
But,
you can always tell who he is.
Steve is
he's
like
our-
Yeah.
Steve the Peacock.
He's like the second
Shout out to
oldest,
Steve.
and
So is there
he's a fighter.
where did Steve's name originate?
Oh, it's just a name,
I
really.
think
Just
they just
Steve?
named him
Yeah.
Steve.
History dog.
Because people thought he
Yeah.
looked like a Steve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They all get the human names.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's our alpha peacock, I think, at this point.
Nice. Cool.
Yeah. They produced one baby this year.
No, they produced
4.
4. And of the 4, they produced 2 whites, which is very rare.
Okay.
Yeah.
According to Porfy, we talked about earlier, never seen one in his entire time. And so we got 2 this year.
They still there, or did like
Just
the
the one,
government
just
swoop in and take
just
them away?
just the one mate. Typically, like they'll have anywhere between 6 to 2
Yeah.
per year, and usually like foxes or other
Oh, they snatch
peacocks,
'em
and
up.
like nature.
How many
nature
peacocks
takes
are on the property?
Currently, I
total?
think we have 9.
Okay.
Yeah.
9.
All right.
That sounds about right. It's hard to tell because they'll wander off for weeks.
Yeah, they
sometimes.
rarely
Wow.
gather but they'll go and kind of wander around, like especially like the younger males, but they always come back to roost in the evening on the property.
Yeah. And they, I think one of my favorite times of year on the property is spring because they all get frisky and start chasing each other around.
No.
And
All the
like it'll
tails
just
go
be,
up.
Oh yeah, they're
Yeah.
constantly just vibrating.
it'll be like Sunday after
hilarious.
service. We'll be sitting in the back and like there's like 18 peacocks just like chasing each other and shit.
Right.
The
We're
sounds
just
they
like,
make
fucking
are
peacock.
Oh, it's
like feral cats dying. It's
Really?
impressive.
yeah. Oh, they will
That's not that bad. Though.
they will
No, it's cool.
they will come up to your car if it's shiny enough and just like flail out their feathers
I've
and
They
like
been
think it's another
charged.
peacock?
oh man, they will just completely come at your
yeah,
car.
they're vicious.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
All right. So overall, you guys like working at Matties? That's the jam for you guys?
Yeah.
I definitely
all
don't
those
hate it.
places.
Yeah.
We've all been there a while. Yeah, we love it.
Well, people like to bounce around a little bit, but like
Yeah.
you're kind of running the show over there. The exec chef, he gets in there often. I used to see him more often,
So
but I never see him anymore.
it's unique. Well, I think
I come when he's not there, probably.
you
Yeah.
typically don't come when he's
Yeah, I mean, I've
These
that,
days.
Casey. And
Yeah,
I
I've
have
never- we've never met.
All right.
yeah,
So this
and
is-
she's always there.
Okay, yeah. So this happens. I'm never there, really, if you think about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But he's over there. What's the executive chef's name?
So Ethan Holmes, Raul Holmes,
Raul.
Raul Holmes
Yes.
is our executive chef.
Nice.
And he was the executive chef at Second Barn Kitchen,
Second Barn Kitchen.
and
Among many others.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
Lest
he
we
has,
forget
he has
Snap.
a very long history.
Yeah. Yeah, he's
That's,
cooked around the country.
oh yeah, all over California and
Yeah.
Austin.
Boston as well.
Yeah.
And San Francisco. So
Yeah.
California. you said
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
But yeah, I think he's a wonderful guy to work for. And between the dynamic duo that we have, I think the ship has been
Yeah, it'd be
sailing
hard. It'd
straighter
be
than
hard to
ever.
leave with these two still around.
Well, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So are you guys, chef? Where are you from?
I'm born and raised Fort Worth, Texas.
Fort Worth.
Yeah.
And Casey,
I'm from California.
you're from California.
Orange
All right.
County.
Orange County. All right.
OC.
I'm one of those transplants.
Hey, I'm a transplant. And Jackson?
Government testing facility.
Oh, yes. Which one?
No comment.
No comment.
Yeah. I was born in Minneapolis,
Minneapolis.
Minnesota.
We have a listener who's she's pretty excited about the podcast. She's moving here from there,
Oh, no way.
and she listens to every episode. And,
Wow. Well, get ready
That's
for
Heidi.
a culture shock.
yeah, she came to visit. I love how she's listening because she is listening, and then when she came to visit, she like went to these restaurants that most people.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty
Yeah.
cool. So there you go, Heidi. If you're listening,
Hi, hi.
Shout
We're
out to
waiting.
Heidi.
Shout out.
another
Yeah.
transplant. It's not.
It's what the city is
Yeah,
really
exactly.
It's become
built on
that.
and
I mean, who
bringing it
lives
down.
here their whole lives, right?
So government testing facility. I can only imagine what
horrors.
horrors. No, I was thinking what they were like aiming for when they were developing you.
Not what you got. Not what,
No.
not what's before you.
No.
No.
No, I was like that bruised avocado that everybody passes over in the grocery store.
Yeah, he's like that banana that just got a little too overripe. And
I was like that one pastry that's clearly smaller than the other ones.
Hey, I didn't ask, but
What
I
are
have
you
to ask
talking about?
the figs. I know this is completely,
Oh,
but
yeah.
Yeah,
Throwback.
the
Yeah,
figs,
back
the fig season. So,
Yes.
did you guys? What was your dessert of choice with the paste or the figs?
So I didn't actually do anything dessert wise,
No? Okay,
but
yeah.
going back to the Garmo prep that we do, I get to make all the jams for cheese boards, and we
right.
also do a seasonal butter with our biscuits. So it's usually some kind of jam infused with butter. So we did a lot with figs
And
with
strawberry
our
fig.
jams.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
we'll,
we
we'll
ra-
put them on salads. We'll
Yeah.
pickle them.
Yeah, I figured
We
salads.
currently have them on the menu with whipped honey ricotta and
roasted
our figs.
carrots. Yeah.
Roasted carrots. Yeah.
Right. Cool. Sorry. I don't know how I got back to the fig, but I was. I guess I was
important, man.
before we got
No,
too far away
The
from
next
it. I
the
did
next
wanna
time
know
you
that.
come, you got to check out the tree. It's
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
a
give 'em a
huge
tour.
canopy.
So
And
do you?
It's enormous.
Do you think
can
maybe you have
smell
the-
the figs?
Yeah?
You can smell the tree. I mean, like it smells amazing, especially like in season. Like currently,
Yeah.
it still smells like you come within 20 feet of it, and it's just
Yeah, it's really like
Yeah.
it's magic out there, man. Like
Yeah.
you're still pretty much in central Austin, and you can get lost on this property. Like actually, you can get
there are
lost.
so many
Used to
people
feel-
that
And-
come there for the first time, and they're just like, "What is this?
They're,
It's
like-
enormous."
Yeah,
Do you
it's-
guys
it's
ever get like a
ridiculous.
younger crowd in there, like to go to the bar, maybe?
Oh, yeah.
Kind of. Yeah, I
But
mean,
the thing about it is like,
They're big on brunch. Like
Yeah.
we get a lot of, we get a lot of bridal showers and like bachelorette or
Yeah, I
baby
get that, but it
showers
sounds
and-
like that kind of like atmosphere. Like I've heard someone refer to Little Darlin like that. Like it's kind of like this little patch of land, and it feels like you've escaped.
Yeah.
But it's really nothing like Matties or at Green Pastures, whatever you guys refer to the property as. But
Well-
it seems like that may be a cool place to kind of like put on people's
oh, it's
radar.
it's like the property itself is amazing. but
yeah.
it has I think a lot of people are kind of surprised at how sophisticated it feels sometimes when you go in. We have like the very low lighting, like ambiance.
Because
but
it's the mansion, right?
yeah, and we
Yeah.
have a patio that is amazing, but the weather,
It's honestly it can
the
be a
weather.
bit daunting just driving into the property, like just like the elegance of the surroundings.
The trees.
I mean, you have these
Everything.
beautiful like
Yeah,
live
we're-
oak trees, and then this, you know,
people are always surprised. We're
Yeah.
tucked right into a neighborhood. You don't even know it's there,
yeah.
and then
Yeah.
you're there.
Yeah, I think I've lived in Austin most of my life. When I
it-
talk to people who have been here for much longer than I have, they don't know what I'm talking about. I mean, there's the whole Matties versus Green Pastures kind of thing, where if I say that I work at Matties, they might mistake it for Mouties, the Tex-Mex spot, or just not know what the fuck I'm talking about. But if you mention Green Pastures, people will know about it. But at the same time, I've met a lot of people who live in the neighborhood and don't know that it's there. It's such a,
It is. It's kind of.
it's like a very large, well-served dinner party almost, because it's a house. There's
Well, if you approach it from one side, it's kind of tucked in, and
Oh,
there's like
yeah.
it looks like you're going into somebody's house almost.
Yeah.
And then if you come the other side, it's like a dead end of a court.
Yeah, off
So you
Old
would
Torf,
never-
we're at the end of a cul-de-sac.
Yeah.
Right. You would never think to go in there. So let me clarify. So the restaurant's name is Matties, and that's 2+ years old, but the property's always has been there as Green Pastures.
yeah, since
Correct,
the 60s.
Okay, so I was there pretty much. I've been over there since you guys opened up. I didn't realize that.
yeah,
Yeah, for the most part.
Okay,
Yeah,
and that
I
was
think
Chef
we-
Patrick at the time.
That was Patrick. Yeah, Patrick, who was the CDC,
Pat
who's
Dunlop.
now the executive chef at.
He went like to the middle of nowhere, right? And he left
And then he
Very much so.
relocated to another middle of nowhere.
Well, no, he's actually out
Salado,
at
right?
Salado, yeah, at another property. Yeah.
Yeah, and then executive chef Joshua Thomas.
Yeah.
Have you two, Austin and Fort Worth, have you guys crossed paths before Matties?
Negatory.
Knife fight. Brief knife fight. No. We were talking about it on the way over here. I was introduced to the restaurant by a friend who still works there, but we met at a bar before I worked there. Briefly before I worked there.
Care to shout out the bar?
No.
No.
He wouldn't like it.
Okay. We'll censor that part if you do. And what brought you from California here?
I
You know, a lot of people, you get a bad rap here with
I know. I'm one of the
California.
ones that's bringing everybody down. But I grew up in Orange County, and I hate the culture of Orange County, honestly.
Yeah.
And it was between here and Portland. You know,
Yeah.
the two. You
Sure.
know, we're the Portland
cool
of the
places.
South. Yeah. But the food culture and
What did you
just-
think when you got here?
it's hot.
How many years have you been here?
It's 3.5 right now.
Okay.
It'll be 4 in February.
It's toasty. It is
Oh
toasty.
yeah, I was on the phone with my dad earlier, and he's like, "Get out of there! It's too hot."
Yeah,
I was like,
you-
"No, dude, it's only 95 today. It's great."
Right.
He's like,
You're getting used to it.
"Yeah."
Yeah.
I was like, "It's been
Yeah.
Blood chemistry.
solid the last week."
Yeah, you may not like Orange County's culture, but the weather you can't
Oh yeah,
really beat.
I went there in the middle of August, and it was pristine.
Yeah.
But
Were you pastry out there? Has it
Yes.
always been a passion for pastries?
yes, yeah, I went to culinary school when I was 21, and it's been that life for me ever since.
Le Cordon Bleu, right?
Yes.
Right. And your student loans have all been forgiven since they closed down.
Man, I was trying to be Spartan, like paying them off as I went, and I really regret doing that.
Well, nobody got forgiven. Nobody got.
Some
forgiven.
people did.
No kidding.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
Yeah, some
yeah.
people did,
People did.
especially
Yeah.
if you got. So essentially, I think when it was happening, if you were already enrolled, I think you basically got a free go
Oh,
at it.
cool. You know, that's kind of affected Austin a little bit because
Oh my
people
God,
like to hire the guys with the culinary background, and we have now Escoffier,
Yeah.
and that's it.
Which I mean, it's not a bad place, I guess.
It's not a bad
I'm
place.
not, I mean, I didn't go. Yeah,
It's not a bad place. There's just less
got a
people with
timeout.
educations
I need a timeout.
floating around. Yeah. The weather. This is the most boring thing in the world. I got to go to the bathroom. That's it.
Cool.
So, but you were talking about moving from Cali and like what motivated you for that? Le Cordon Bleu, your background,
Oh
in
yeah,
culinary
all
school,
of the
Le Cordon Bleu.
loans.
I think I mentioned
student
the.
loans.
Yeah, but yeah, everybody got their money back from Le Cordon Bleu.
That's nice, but
I
now
believe-
you
I
have
believe.
an influx of just people who, instead of going and getting that 1 year, education, which people rag on sometimes, but like you gain a lot from it, and then when you go to a chef, he's like, yeah, he can rely on you because you know the basics. But now you've got a lot of guys who are in leadership roles, like executive chefs or sous chefs or whatever the case is, and they have to kind of like hold somebody's hand through. This is how you do this. This is how you do this to get them to where they want to be, where they kind of get a jump start.
Yeah,
You get where I'm going with that.
Yeah, I get. Yeah, I get that. But I'm one of those people. Like,
Yeah.
I was working. I mean, I've been working in restaurants since I was 16, and I completely got the job just by accident. My brother went in to interview for a job at a payway, and I was in the car, and we were just. I was like, I don't know, but anyway, so yeah, he went in to interview, and I had to use the restroom, so I went in, and I asked where the bathroom was, and on the way to the bathroom, the GM intercepted me.
Tell me your brother got the job too.
Actually, it's really funny.
Just
so
David.
he intercepted me, and I just kind of went with it. And so I got interviewed, and I started washing dishes that day.
Wow.
And my brother didn't get hired for like 2 weeks.
Wow. How is this an older brother?
Yeah.
Oh man, how did that go over?
Oh, I mean, he wasn't happy.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
You were like 16 at the time.
Yeah.
Fort Worth,
Fort Worth, yeah.
payway.
Yeah.
Cool. That's P.F. Chang's, right?
Yeah, it's like
Restaurant
it's
group.
like the PF
The
Chang's like
Subway
little.
of PF Chang's.
Yeah.
Nice. So that's where you got your feet wet. What about you, Chef Kasey? What was it always pastries or no?
Pretty much. I started out as like bakery front of house when I was 17.
Where at?
Like-
Anywhere interesting that we'd know?
Orange
Not?
County, just
Yeah,
like a
somewhere.
little bakery called Layer Cake Bakery in Irvine. But that was my official first job after a very terrible stint at a clothing store that I hated. And I was like, oh, cool. Like I always loved baking through high school and like growing up, and I was like, oh yeah, this could be something that I do. And I actually fell into culinary school similar to David. My friend was the one that wanted to apply to Le Cordon Bleu for a culinary scholar or degree.
So
And
you
I was
went
like,
with?
Yeah, I was like, yeah, I'll go on the tour with you. Why not? And I was the only one that ended up signing up for culinary school that day.
It's crazy how that happens.
Yeah. I was like-
Interesting. Yeah.
I was just there for moral support, and then I was like, no, this makes more sense. I'd done like community college and was
Right.
like, meh, so.
Sure. And Jackson, how did you get going?
Well, my dad was a chef.
Nice.
He cooked from the time I think he was about 14, maybe even earlier.
Was he a chef that it kind of like had you hands on with things, or was he always working?
I mean, he actually got out of the kitchen and moved into food management when I was, like early school age, maybe even a little bit younger.
That's probably a wise choice for him, right? He's probably able to be more around.
Yeah, kind of. But I think one of the many lessons I'm grateful for my dad for, just in the scope of like food business, is that I saw like the other side, the family side of like he was busy. He was
Yeah.
a busy motherfucker.
Yeah.
A lot of the time, and he worked really hard and he was very successful. And it was really good learning from him. But he. So he was a chef, and my mother was also. She was just an incredible cook, self-taught. She never cooked in restaurants or anything. But I grew up in a house where like we ate in a lot. Like we cooked together, did all kinds of great stuff, and I was always around food. I loved food growing
Nice.
up. I wanted to be just like my dad.
I'm guessing some of the things you learned at home you still kind of incorporate.
Totally. I mean, like my mom, for example, like she taught me how to cook eggs. Like up in I think since
You mean not Gordon Ramsay on YouTube? I'm
I
sorry.
don't know.
Oh,
Since April, I've been working saute brunch, and it's like, she taught me how to cook eggs. Like it's things like that. Like she taught me how to make pies, breads.
It's kind of crazy how
Yeah.
many people don't know how to cook eggs
Oh.
or properly cook an egg.
Yeah,
that is crazy because
The
everyone
variety
can.
of the egg.
Everyone can cook an egg, but do you cook it right? Because
Yeah.
if you turn on the
Every
heat,
time.
every time.
Oh yeah, I will. I mean, I'll have people that are like, "Hey, I want to try cooking," and one of the first things I do, I'm just like, "All right, cook me an egg."
Wow, that's.
But the thing about it is, so many people are intimidated, like they either haven't cooked like an egg before,
And
or
do you just give me scrambled egg, give me poached easy? What?
just ask them to cook me an egg.
Yeah.
However, they're most
And
comfortable.
have you
with
ever
cooking the
had
egg.
somebody like get some water going and drop in and give you a poached egg? For
I've
for something?
I've never had that. Generally, I generally get a scramble.
Yeah.
overcooked, broken ass scrambled.
Well, I mean, and some people just cook an egg, but also there's so many different ways to cook an egg. Like I personally prefer an in the pan scrambled egg.
Sure.
I
think the majority of the people can cook. This is your brain on drugs egg. Then the rest of the chefs floating around actually proper, like slow heat,
Yeah.
on and off. And
Yeah.
what was Mom's method?
So like for example, scrambled eggs. We're just talking about scrambled eggs. Like she taught me how to medium heat. You got the eggs scrambled already. You got everything ready. You know what I mean? The
Right.
oil's hot in the pan. The butter's hot in the pan. You
Everything's
drop
in
it
place, right?
You pull it a little bit towards the middle. You let it scramble. Like that's what a scrambled egg is. She taught me things like that.
Sure.
So I got to grow up around that, and I wanted to do a half a dozen other things that I tried doing until kind of like, I hear these stories a lot, but I pretty much just fell ass backwards into a kitchen. I first worked in front of the house, and I just got to know the chefs because I was bussing a busy ass restaurant, and it sucked. It was fun.
Here in town?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The money was great and it was fun. I really needed a job, but like what I wanted and the stuff that I thought was cool was the kitchen. It was like a magnet. Like I just attached onto it and
Got
they
that.
ended up offering me a job one day, and like it's been several years since. I
The
love
back
it.
of the house drew you in.
Oh my god, immediately.
It does that.
It's a lifestyle.
I
So
love it.
how's the front of the relationship with the front of the house work with you guys? Remember, they might be listening.
David?
It's
Every
thing-
kitchen has their own relationship with them. There's
Sure.
always give and take, I would think. I mean, they do things we don't appreciate, and we do things that they don't appreciate. And
Sure.
It's like
but
roommates.
overall,
I think overall, like I think at most restaurants, I wouldn't think that there's many restaurants around town that don't have like a pretty good overall vibe with the back and front of house. I mean, there are restaurants that it's just completely like divided. But I think, especially nowadays in Austin, it's different. It's a different feel for front of house and back of house because number one, you have it's a college town, so there's so much turnover,
Yeah.
in front of house and things like that.
oh yeah,
And
back of the house, right?
I mean, yeah,
we have a solid-
and back
good
of
to-
house, and
good to
like
hear.
you have a tendency to have like a longer stay in back of house than front of house. So it's always kind of like you're always kind of feeling out new people, and I mean it can get a little bit tense at times, I guess, trying to bring people into the fold.
Have you ever adopted anybody from the front of the house to the back of the house? I mean, maybe even just in your career in general. Anybody?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I
In my
imagine
career,
we have.
tons of times, yeah.
Okay, cool.
At this restaurant, I think maybe once or twice. Yeah,
at
definitely.
Matties?
Oh, yeah, and definitely like we've hired like people that were just like, hey man, I want to start like I'll wash dishes and I want to learn how to cook, and they just kind of move up and progress to like prep cooking and things like that, and we're totally down with that. It's like, all right, man,
yeah.
you want to work?
What do you think when you were drawn to, the back of the house there? What was it that attracted you? Was it just you're out of the limelight? You just get to be kind of a part of a little rogue kitchen.
I mean, like, the honest truth for my situation
Yeah.
was that I was totally fucking in love with my sous chef. That was a whole side story I don't need to get into, but that's the honest fucking truth.
You were aiming to impress them.
That's the honest fucking truth. These guys are laughing about it because they've heard the story before. It's tragic.
Is it a story that needs to be told?
No. I'm gonna brush that one off a little bit, but it
Popcorn.
didn't end
it's an
well.
epic love story.
It did not end well. It's an epic. I can make anything sound epic by just talking a lot, though. So, for way too long.
So it did not work out.
But the point is that through, like, at the time, I just needed something to do. I did not have a lot going on. I was looking to save money to move to New York to work in TV. I had a job doing that.
What aspect of TV?
I was a production assistant for NBC and on some sets for like just shows in New York. That was a whole other thing, but it was something I was saving up to do, and I got this like job. I'd just finished high school.
Yeah.
I'd worked in food trucks before when I was about 17. Just start pretty early like these guys. It just made sense. Like I was talking about like my family influence. I mean, my dad taught me how to hold a knife the right way. And he was also the first chef to ever tell me that my food fucking sucked. It was stuff like that. Like I grew up.
That's pretty special, though, right?
Yeah,
I
like
mean, when he's on the saute station, he gets to occasionally his mom goes through his head, and
Yeah,
if something
all the
doesn't
time.
taste right, he's got his dad in the back of his
Fix
head.
them
There's all
eggs,
kinds
Jackson.
of family stuff like that, but yeah, it just made a lot more sense to me. The people felt right, and
Yeah.
I think
That's kind of what I was getting at.
I haven't been doing this for too long. I've only worked in a few kitchens, but I think the one consistent thing that I've seen across concepts, styles of kitchens, locations, stuff like that, is that what I've ran into is a specific kind of person that I like to be around.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there was just this magnetic force that it made me feel like I belong more than anything I'd ever done. And that was
Were you guys-
school,
Yeah.
whatever.
You guys searching for anything like that are similar in a way at all? Like the connection with people in the back of the house?
I don't know if I was looking for it, but I've found it.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean,
You know, you mentioned kitchens. Can I ask you guys, so Matties, how is it laid out? Because you originally had said that, pastries is off and
yeah.
what's the kind of the layout there compared to, I guess, what would we call a traditional kitchen? I don't know, but let's
mean-
hear how Matties is laid out.
I mean, from what you've seen, I mean, it's pretty big, right? I mean,
Matties, big kitchen, big
generally,
back of the house.
generally, like when you
It
walk
is
in, and that's just like you haven't even seen the line, really. I mean, I guess you have seen the line, right?
So if you walk in as a server,
Mm-hmm.
where do we get to go from there?
So if you walk in as a server, it explodes in the back, and you have
You get a long line.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it's
the pass is big.
one of the biggest passes I think in town.
Okay.
And then
Off to the right of the
Pastry.
pass is
Yeah.
pastry.
Pastries.
So
Yeah.
I get to be right there. I'm
Yeah.
not really part of it, but I get to hear all of it.
yeah, so they're kind of they're like adjacent to the line. They're like
You even have an
catty
your own
corner
door,
to it, but
right?
they have like a huge
We call
double
it like
deck
the
oven.
cove.
Yeah,
The go.
Yeah, I'm like secluded, but not. They
Yeah.
don't get to hear me, but I get to hear all of them.
yeah, and then
And so you have this pass, and you have this
this
line,
line,
with
and then
lowboys
there's
all
like it's a very large line, 3 really long.
during service. You guys utilize the entire line.
Oh yeah.
How many cooks on
Because
there
we have
generally?
we have a really big wood burning grill that we use, and it's a custom wood burning grill that gets its own like hood vent, so it's enormous,
Cool.
and so we have that, and then the small fry, and then flat top, and then
Ovens too.
and then we have the oven, and
The
then
ovens are on the line.
Then we
yeah.
have a 10 burner range, so it's
And then
it's
there's-
big. And
yeah.
then there's garment.
then there's
so
a break.
Garmage's on the opposite side of pastries.
Correct.
Yeah,
Yeah.
No, I thought you
Well,
guys aren't.
I get
So
to help
she
prep
will
for
prep.
them.
Yeah,
prep
so they
for it.
prep for, and then like for instance today during brunch, like she's there prepping because we're closed on Monday, so she'll prep things
Okay.
that
Very good.
that she can finish on Tuesday or something like that when we're open. But when she's there, she'll help do desserts and things like that.
Yeah, I get to jump on the line every once in a while when
Yeah,
needed. But
And during service, Jackson, that's your jam is you're on the line typically.
Yeah.
Okay. And then be on the line.
we have
and then so that's just the line, and then beyond that we have like the production area, I guess you could call it.
Yeah, we have a
Prep
whole
kitchen.
back kitchen.
Oh yeah, and it's just stacked
Fully
with
equipped.
ovens and prep tables. I mean, you've
The
seen
dish-
that.
I've seen it, but we're describing
which is
it for somebody
completely
who's not.
which is completely separate from the dish pit.
The dish pit, right?
I mean, most delivery drivers and ex chefs, how many chefs turn into like
Reps.
food reps and things like that. They always come in. They're just like, man, if I had this kitchen, it's enormous. And then
is, right?
we also have our
Biggest kitchen you guys have worked in.
Oh
Everybody?
my god, yeah.
yeah,
Oh yeah, I
I
mean,
mean, it is like school, right?
it's
Yeah.
it's
Wait.
crazy, yeah. And then
better than school.
so we have that, and then we also have a walk-in.
Cold.
It's a
room.
cold room, so it's basically
where
what
the slicer is.
yeah. So it's basically where we keep and plate like our salads, tomatoes. It's a completely different temp from like our protein or produce cooler. It's a certain temperature.
Yeah, you guys are spoiled over there.
Oh my
with
God,
that
yeah.
setup.
Yeah. So
It's reason enough just to stick around.
Yeah.
right?
So when we have these large events, we'll have like 2 weddings, 3 weddings, or something like that, or we'll have like one really large wedding. We'll have all these salads that we got to go, and that's the base of operation for Greens. That day it's basically a big Garmo station and/or where we break down proteins.
Yeah, it's big, but it gets utilized.
Yeah,
Like,
Absolutely.
There are times where we feel like there is no more room in that entire
Yeah.
space.
Oh yeah, because
That's good then.
Yeah,
Yeah, during the holidays
Well,
and
use it
yeah.
for sure.
it's fantastic.
So that's pretty much the gist of it. And then you got front of the house, which is the
Entire house.
the house, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, the house.
The front of the house. So what kind of hours do you guys get over there? I mean, is it different for everybody?
Yes.
Yeah.
It varies.
Yeah.
David and I
Maybe.
probably spend the most time there out of.
I don't know.
ever.
I mean, Kasey might.
Casey's
have,
up there.
Kasey might have a. Yeah,
Aw.
she might have
Well,
a.
what's
I respect y'all.
what's
She might
what's
have.
typical
She
with-
might have a bone to pick with that. I
No.
mean, Casey's usually there from
I-
like 7 or 8.
I get there first, but I mean, David puts in 6-day weeks pretty consistently. Jackson has done, like you said, he'll show up on our off days to help with the receiving.
Yeah.
I mean, when we're busy, I'll pull my 6 days, but for the most part, I mean, they work pretty hard. I get to come in early.
So you get out
But-
there earlier.
Yeah, I mean, I'm never usually pulling more than 50
That's
a week.
good. That's
Yeah.
good.
I mean, it's pretty rare though to have like a pastry chef that's in the know enough to know what's going on with like both a la carte service, and then if we have a banquet service, it's like, hey, can you do this? And then just automatically know, like, all right, I know how this is gonna plate. Like, we're gonna plate these hors d'oeuvres, or
it's very
we're gonna do these
beneficial.
salads. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And she can just jump right in, and it's like, you want to stick around for like, and it's never like, hey, can you stick around for another hour? It's always like, hey, do you need me to stick around for another hour, or I'm just gonna go and plate these hors d'oeuvres.
All right. Then you guys got good team, good
We
connection.
have
Absolutely.
a very good,
I mean,
It's
just
solid
throw
team.
throw another thing out there. I mean, Kasey checks in and asks if she can like sweep or mop every Sunday at like 4:00. It's like
I mean,
It's very
shit,
fluid.
it's like the best
Yeah.
time to go home, and you're
we're
like,
a team.
"Hey, dog,
Like,
yeah.
There
can
you
I
go.
scrub something?"
Yeah.
I will wipe down the walls if you fucking
Yeah.
need it.
Yeah, there's always been cohesion. I think that is the number one thing, just ahead of like the leadership that I think we've been really lucky to have, that allows us to be able to do what we do in terms of events and a restaurant with just one staff, the same space. Everybody knows what's going on both sides, even though they're kind of separate. And like it's that cohesion. It's I'm done with my line prep. Can I plate some hors d'oeuvres?
Yeah.
Can I cut 150 of whatever for the event that's in 2 days? It's that's what allows us to have the business that we do. And
Sure.
we didn't you were talking about turnover earlier. We didn't have any turnover for almost a year.
I was just
Yeah,
going to
the last
ask
couple
how,
months.
if you, do you guys have like spots open right now?
Currently, it's
Sort of.
kind of a tough situation because we sometimes have people come in and it's not really what they expect. They kind of expect to just walk into a regular line cook
Yeah.
Well,
shift, and it's kind of like,
Explain a little bit more.
well, again, it's like a completely different animal because not
'Cause of the
only
events that
not
happen?
oh yeah,
Is that the reason why it's different?
completely. Yeah,
That's it.
That because we treat them as almost one and the same. Like we try not to divide them.
So
You
it's
know.
kind of like a regular service on like steroids.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. And I mean during the event, we obviously will like have staff set to do one thing and another thing.
Sure, yeah.
But on top of, it's not like you walk in and if you have your prep done, you're just gonna sit around. You're gonna do some banquet prep kind of thing.
Yes, it's a huge
Yeah.
operation. Okay. All right. Well, cool.
Yeah, and I think like hand in hand with that is that some restaurants that I've worked in are the assumption for a line cook is that you show up, you work the line, you clean the line, you leave. That's never been the attitude in our restaurant. It's like everybody shows up and does the work together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not even necessarily that like everybody clocks out together. It's just that we do the work together. Everybody understands that it needs to get done.
Well, then we got to ask about dishes. It sounds to me, I'm going out on a limb here, that you guys probably all get back there at the end of the night to go home, or is your
oh man, I mean,
Solid.
there's been nights where it's just like, all right, yeah, I'm just gonna all go in on all kinds of stuff. But I mean, yeah, there's tons of dishes all the time, and AM to PM, we always have multiple dishwashers. We have to.
right? Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, or I
Yeah,
mean, like you'll catch any one of us back there, and even on like holiday banquets, which is a big thing for our business, with like a bus tub of soap and a stack of plates, just going to town.
Yeah.
But I mean, you've seen it when you go back there to wash. There's a 3-compartment sink in the prep,
Yeah,
that's a whole
in the
thing.
production area, and we'll wash our own
Okay.
like pans and stuff back there. You know
Sure.
what I mean?
Yeah.
So as to not like overload the dish pit.
Yeah, that's
You know?
great. That's
So
great.
I mean,
We've also
Yeah.
got like a good system down. Like all of the front of house knows like to stack dishes accordingly. Like it's never just a clusterfuck of dishes.
Right.
If
Well,
we can
it
avoid
sounds
it.
like the way
If
you
we can
guys-
avoid it.
If we can
Right.
avoid it.
Well, it happens, right? But the way you guys are talking, it sounds like if you do get somebody who comes in who's kind of like, what is this? You guys have a good system to kind of weed out the
Well,
people who don't want to work.
I think
basically.
one of the biggest things about like working in restaurants that is beneficial is it naturally weeds out people that aren't fit
Sure.
for
Okay.
working in restaurants.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
if you're not like, there's so many people, especially like I feel like now they're just like, yeah, I'm just gonna work in a kitchen, and then next week I'll be on TV. And they walk into a kitchen and it's like, oh wait, I have to work. That gets weeded out.
I just graduated
Yeah.
from culinary school and all
Yeah.
of a sudden I'm a chef.
Yeah,
and it's
that
like,
that's so prominent now, and that just kind of naturally kitchens just weed itself out, and it doesn't necessarily take you having a certain attitude towards anybody. It's just the work.
Yeah.
It's just the work that you have to put into it.
We've talked about this, that, it's no different than any other trade, just being a construction
Yeah.
or anything. You just have to have a good work ethic.
Yeah, you have
Yeah.
to put in the work.
At
Yeah,
the end of the day, that's all it boils down to.
yeah.
So, grown in a test lab here in Austin somewhere, I'm just curious, really, for all of you guys, what do you think about kind of the drastic change we've seen here? Are you guys all on board? I mean, you're newer. And,
I'm newer and I'm part of the problem.
but you're
and-
also, I'm sure, in the short time you've been here, seeing things change.
Oh yeah. I mean, when I moved here, I moved onto Riverside in like 35, and
I mean, even the last
since
few
I
years,
went back last week, and I was like,
What
"Oh
is this?
my god!"
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's bad.
and you can feel the population and everything increasing. What do you guys think? So you say bad. I'm assuming that it worries you a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to be part of the problem.
Well-
feel like a hypocrite like talking about it because I know I'm just
There's so many people who've moved here. You don't need to feel like a hypocrite. You're probably in the majority.
yeah. It's just you were promised all these things about moving to Austin, and then
Yeah.
we all heard them and listened to them, and then made it what it's become, which is just overcrowded.
Overcrowded.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
I mean, there was like a very brief moment in time where I was like, man, this sucks.
Yeah.
But I would think about all the times I would go to New York, and I just loved it.
Yeah.
I love everything about the busyness of it, and it's a city. It is what it is. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's a melting pot for a reason. There's just so many people. There's so much stuff stuffed into a space that it became this phenomena that is New York.
It's
And-
interesting comparing Austin and New York.
And so, like, this kind of thing on a smaller scale, but not necessarily, is happening here in Austin.
Yeah.
And initially, it's like when I moved here, like, the downtown wasn't what it is. The skyline wasn't what it is. And there was a lot of places that I would go that I'm like, man, well, I can't go there now. I'm not going to bother with that.
Just because it became inaccessible?
Oh yeah. And I just don't like to fuss with all that. But the more I think about it, it's like, you can't fight progress. You can't, there's no point. Things are going to change. Things are going to happen. And I just think, like, we might as well just go with it at this point, and let's just.
There's like a optimistic side, and then I'm like, I don't know if it's pessimistic or a reality side. I'm like,
we're kind of. It's kind of like if you've ever tried to grow your hair out. If you've ever
sort of mellows out.
If you've ever
you get that really ugly stage.
Yeah, you have a really you get
fine.
like that mullet stage where it's like, oh, there's nothing I can do with this. But then it's like, all right, it's cool, it's good. You know what I mean? And I feel like we're in the mullet stage of Austin, where it's just like
this approach.
It's
That's
kind
good.
of it's
yeah,
ugly
public
right
transit
now.
hasn't caught
Yeah,
up
it's
yet.
ugly right now, and we don't really know what to do with it. And I think also Austin is in a weird stage where it's like, all right, we're in Austin, like, this is a music city, but now we're trying to shift to where we're also a food city.
Yeah.
But it hasn't quite hit. So we're in this weird kind of like limbo about it right now. And I think in a few years it will hit.
Jackson, what do you think? I think the music has suffered just but
honestly, I think David's whole statement about New York, I might have said the exact same thing if I had spoken first. I could not agree more with that.
Cool.
He might have copied my notes.
I didn't know you took
but I'm going to take his lunch money later, so we'll see about that. So I personally, I moved here 10 years old, so I grew up with the city. It feels like I feel like I've gotten to see buildings go up, see the city change as I've gotten older, and I love that. Every time that I find myself traveling or whatever, I feel like I look around and like get a deep breath of the city and feel that, and I love that.
Traveling around the city.
No, traveling outside of the city.
Okay.
I feel like I get a little bit of perspective about what we have here. And
Yeah.
I think it's great. Like
That's true, I think.
It bums me out, like, certain things about like I love Barton Springs. Barton Springs getting overcrowded kind of bums me out. Some of my other favorite swimming holes kind of bums me out. Things like that. It's what you would see in a larger city, and I'm a city person. Like, I grew up in a walking neighborhood before I moved to Austin. So I actually lived slightly south of here. I lived in far south Austin.
Okay.
Actually outside of the city limits, but I love it. The one thing that I will complain about on a regular basis is it has to do specifically with the restaurant industry, and I agree. Like, a mullet thing, whatever, it's an analogy. I get it. It's growing pains is what you're saying. And I feel like there are a lot of great restaurants in Austin. I feel like there were restaurants that may have punched higher a few years ago, and I think that a lot of people bought into that, and it's blown up. And I love that. I love that you can get a reservation just about anywhere. You can get awesome food just about anywhere. But the reality behind the scenes is that I don't feel like there are enough people to supply these restaurants, and that's why you see.
I don't think that's real.
I think it's real. And it's tough. It's tough to see every great restaurant having issues, but at the same time, from an employee's perspective, it's pretty cool to know that you can work anywhere that you want to.
Yeah, but at the same time, everybody knows that, and I know you guys might have a solid crew that sticks around, but there's a lot of people who
we're just like any other restaurant. I mean, when you hit a time and it's like, name a restaurant that hasn't had a tough time picking up a dishwasher. Shout out if you're a dishwasher and you want a job.
Hey,
hit up Matties.
hit me up.
But also, on like the negative side, you can like get somebody applying that comes from another restaurant, and you know somebody at that restaurant. And you're like, well, why is this person here? And like, you can get a really bad rep really quickly, and you can also get a really good rep.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things about.
But
this
it's a
town.
small town when it comes down to it.
Yeah, you have a lot of people that just kind of hop around, and that's kind of not necessarily a good thing. I mean, some people claim that they're just doing it to get experience, but it's like,
if somebody's doing it to get experience, you could tell they're there for a year, maybe.
Yeah,
years.
but most like in this town, like I kind of frequently find people that just will go to a place for like 6 months or so, and then leave.
That's
3.
even long.
You know what I mean?
3 months
And then
like,
they leave, and then their whole thing is like, yeah, man, I've worked at like pretty much every restaurant in town. I'm like, how long have you lived here? They're like, 2 years. I'm like, well,
so this isn't a selling point.
Okay, man. Well, that's not
what
good
Kasey
for me.
said. This is you. Sometimes you move here and you feel like, well, I mean, I'm from Chicago, and it feels more
great food city,
right?
Amazing food city.
I miss
Jesus.
it.
Love that city.
But you feel like Austin at times is, or you're just used to things being bigger. But this is definitely a small town, and word gets around. Believe me.
Yeah.
It
Real
is,
quick.
yeah, it does get around real quick.
Some chef from some company has worked with some chef at another company, and
Sure.
Yeah.
So, okay, unrelated to the growth in Austin, but I'm glad you guys have your 2 cents, and it's not all bad. What do you guys favor for shoes? Your non-slip
Berkeys.
shoes.
Birkenstocks?
David converted me to Berkeys about like towards the beginning of the year. I switched from 5 years of laces to Berkeys. And
the loose fitting clog guys?
Oh my god! The only thing I could say is that I can't walk backwards in them
because they'll fall off.
You always sound like you're shuffling your feet.
I always sound like I'm shuffling my feet. That might be poor posture, but
no, it's the thing with like everybody just sounds like they don't know how to pick up their feet when they're wearing Berkeys.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
So at the time
They're
that
comfy.
I switched, I was working 2 kitchen jobs. So
It's
I
actually a
worked.
thing with me. I'm always like, man, why do I sound like I'm?
Why do I sound so lazy?
Yeah.
No, it's just you're good.
I worked all day every day, and my feet hurt all day every day. And I switched to Berkeys. They never hurt. It's incredible.
He still owes me $25.
Yeah.
So that's your weapon of choice as well.
Yeah. My whole thing was I would just blow through shoes.
Cheap shoes or just shoes?
Oh, dude, any shoe. Like obviously, like shoes for crews. If you work in a restaurant, you know shoes for crews.
Yeah.
Tried them all. Blew through. I mean, I would blow through those shoes so fast. I mean, I just blow through shoes, and even in real life, like not working, and those just last, man.
Yeah, they're solid. You can just get the inserts for the
sole, and
right?
I mean, if you get them just, off the shelf, they're good. But I always get the inserts for them, and they last.
Well, even if if they start to feel uncomfortable, you can just buy a new insert.
Yeah,
the shell keeps trucking. Yeah. Kasey, what are you? What's on your?
I'll still support the Dansko and Sanita.
Okay.
Flip.
Yeah.
I love my clogs. We got some dope ones with stars on them right now.
Yeah, they look like the galaxy. It's pretty cool.
And we are all taking sponsorship deals. Just so you know.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Shout out.
What do you guys? I guess I'll start with you, David. What like your favorite must-have tool that you get the most use out of?
Like, what do I use the most?
I don't know if it's the most, or maybe just like something you gotta have, something you've found that you have to have.
I think my newest favorite tool, is my pocket scissors.
Oh, God.
that I found.
Those make me jealous, though.
We're sighing because we're mad that he didn't buy them for us.
Yeah.
Pocket scissors.
Japanese bookstore.
Yeah, there's
coolest.
I'm really mad that I don't.
So they come in a little cover, so
they
you're not going to poke
it
yourself.
literally looks like a pin, and you pull the top off, and there's like a slide,
it's like
there's
Swiss
little-
Army scissors.
It's literally like it looks like a pin, but the top comes off, and then you slide out, and there's handles, and then there's scissors.
And what are you using those for?
I mean,
Just
tape and
tape.
cutting things open all the time.
so
and
there's
herbs,
there's
yeah.
oh man,
Bags.
herbs. Yeah, I
Herbs?
use them for herbs. Yeah, I use.
are
I
they
use them.
sharpenable?
Oh, maybe. That's a. I mean,
He'll see them
that's
too.
yeah.
Check 'em out.
Actually, yeah,
We'll see.
yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, yeah.
So where
And a
can one
Sharpie.
acquire?
That's what I was
these
saying.
pocket
So if you have ever been to the 99 Ranch up on Lamar Airport, it is literally the Japanese bookstore right next door to that,
right.
and they're
And-
like $6 or $7.
Well, it sounds like you need to buy a couple more.
I've promised Kasey a pair,
Okay.
and
Well,
I mean to make well on that promise. I haven't yet. Though.
Yeah.
Okay,
We'll
so
know.
what do you? I mean, since you don't have those,
No. I believe that every pastry cook needs is a mini spatula.
mini spat.
Yeah.
Okay.
The brand Tovolo is the best.
How smaller is a mini spatula? Like in comparison to maybe your thumb?
What's
Those
that,
are
like 2 inches?
How wide?
yeah.
It's like 1 by 2 inches. Maybe,
Okay.
Yeah,
maybe.
those are actually pretty awesome, especially for blenders.
They're
For
they
blenders.
For
no, they
blenders,
fit
they're
perfectly
amazing.
in a Roboku and they fit perfectly in a Vitamix.
To get out the
yeah.
stuff you can't.
Yeah,
scrape
but like
out.
as we're like, you know, you need a small batch of chocolate. I don't know, man. They literally, I use them. I used to have 2. 1 broke recently. It was a very upsetting day for me.
Underrated. Those special.
They're very underrated, but I will use mine like 15 times a day probably.
That's great. That's great. Jackson, what?
I'm particularly picky about what spoons I use, but my
tasting spoons or plating spoons?
everything,
Every
man.
spoon.
Absolutely every spoon
Yeah, you
has
got
to
a
be
sauce on the
particular,
side.
but
Okay.
it's probably my personality or my wit.
What, you oh, I'm sorry. It's not the spoon. It's the personality and the
No.
whip.
that
No.
mean?
I'm just gonna let that one sit.
Let it simmer.
Yeah, let it simmer. Let it reduce a little bit.
I'll do that shit.
Yeah.
Go.
All right. And then I guess in the same vein of that, and I guess we'll just start again with David. So that's in your pocket. What's like standard, like just bare essentials for what you personally like bring into work, in the knife roll or whatever it is, backpack. I don't know, sock. What are you doing?
Just general day to day. If I had like 2 tools to use, obviously chef knife and a utility knife.
That's what you bring.
That's what I probably use the most.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
What about you, Kasey? What are you bringing into work?
Every day I come in, I put on my shoes, and I load my pocket. I have a bowl scraper, pocket scissors, which is why I'm mad at David for not getting me better ones.
Oh, okay.
A little pocket knife, and I've got my Sharpie and my pen. Like that is, if I don't have those every day, then things are gonna go
for
wrong.
regalia or what we use the most?
Those,
I
I
wasn't-
mean,
I
that's
wa-
my
I-
day to day.
Yeah, I was asking what essentials for every day. What do you bring?
Oh well.
Yeah,
better
no, you
not
fucked
say
up. You're
You've
good.
passed me. You've
Yeah,
passed
you're good.
me.
You
You better
gave-
not
passed
say
me.
zebra
You gave
pens.
us-
Like that's part of my uniform.
Out of the people at this table, I use zebra pens more than anyone.
What kind of
else.
pen?
Zebra.
Okay.
Zebra pens.
And your Sharpie? Sharpies?
Well, yeah,
Sharpie and-
Sharpies for the tape. I got
Yeah.
Sharpies
Oh,
for
yeah,
But
yeah,
then
yeah, gotta have
I
Sharpies.
like my little
Gotta have Sharpies.
pink gel ink pen for signing.
Do you have the
everything
clickable
else.
Sharpie?
No.
Okay, so apparently
It
that's
dries
what
out
you need
quickly
to-
though.
The
I-
clickable one?
I used to use a lot of
Yeah.
clickable Sharpies.
I don't like
but
the
they do dry out a little
the
faster.
yeah the clickables. Yeah, they don't last as long and they don't fit as well in the sleeve of.
Or you'll accidentally click
yeah.
it and
Yeah.
then your shirt is
Yeah.
fucked.
It's true.
Yeah.
Are you guys wearing the Matties, like a uniform? Or are you guys
I
bringing your
mean,
own chef,
you've seen me, man. I mean, chef coats, man.
chef coats? Yeah, those are yours or Matties? Or Green Pastures or whatever?
We got a
Yeah,
good
this
We
one
have
is,
a
yeah.
laundry service.
service.
That's
Okay.
one
Shout
of
out,
the-
shout out, Alsco.
Yeah, one of the many things about like the way that we run is our laundry service. It's awesome. Like you can have a whatever night and show up like a dirty piece of shit, and you got clean clothes waiting for you. It's
That was
I
one
love
of the
it. I've done
things.
that
Is
many
like
times.
whenever I got brought on. So I got brought on by a guy that I used to work with, Patrick, who
Yeah.
mentioned earlier, and we worked at the W together. And he was like, "Hey, man, we're gonna open up this new place, and we're gonna do this and that." And he called me and like toured the place, and I was like, what are we doing about this and that? And we got to discussing uniforms, and I was like, man, it's pretty sweet over there because they provide all that. Yeah. And you can just kind of walk in and have that. And I mean, like, I bring my own, like, pants and stuff like that. But I mean, like, for people.
You don't have to, though.
Yeah, but you don't have to.
So there's
and
pants
we
too.
provide.
Oh, yeah. But that's the whole thing is, like, you can come in dressed in your street clothes and dress out. You know what I mean? Like,
Nice.
you come
That
in
is nice.
and you have you have the coat, you have the pants. If you come
And
in,
we offer a variety of different, like, chef coats.
Yeah, we got
That's
long
great.
sleeve, we got short
sleeve,
sleeve,
snaps.
we got snaps, we got buttons. It's amazing, man.
Nice.
And I mean, like that was the whole thing that we talked about whenever we were kind of planning it all out. Was like we detailed so many things. It was like, well, we have to have that because so many people have trouble with that.
Sure.
You know what I mean? It's like, man, I don't want people to have to, especially with banquets. Like you're gonna be all over the place. You're gonna get messy. I don't want you to have to worry about washing your whites, you know what I mean? So it's like coming in and having a fresh shirt every day, a fresh pants if you need them. Like, yeah,
Especially if somebody's going from 2 different jobs, right?
yeah, exactly,
Yeah,
like that, man.
absolutely.
I mean, so
So Jackson, what's your what are you bringing to work?
Zebra pen. It's number 1.
Okay.
And then I got my Sharpie.
And a Sharpie.
Cake tester. Tweezers. I get a lot of flack for the tweezers, but you know what? The tweezers come in handy constantly. It's like having a baby pair of tongs. Anytime that you have any need for them. Very useful. Kasey.
Very
also
useful. I
likes
totally steal them
tweezers.
from
She's
him
the
every
only
once in a
person. Actually, almost everybody
We've got some
steals
nice
them from
tweezers.
me.
I don't steal them from him. Just know that I'm
He
shaking
does
my head.
sometimes. He has.
Well, I have
Are
very
they
chubby
like-
fingers. Like, I sometimes just need a more.
Are they offset or
offset tweezers. Yeah.
offset tweezers?
Yeah, they fit perfectly in the little sleeve pocket, and then they also hold my cake tester in place so that it doesn't fall out.
Okay.
You see, I mentioned something about the spoons. I'm very, very picky.
Okay. Do you have a brand of spoon that you're?
They're actually brandless. They were left for me by our former
He doesn't know because they're all
Chef.
my spoons that he uses.
Former
But that's
chef.
it's fine. It's
Patrick
fine.
Dunlop.
They're all my
left them for
spoons.
me. He left those spoons for me. I don't know where he got them, but
Have you ever looked into spoons? Like,
I have. looked
No,
into
he just
spoons.
uses my spoons.
Like when I worked at a previous restaurant, a very, very particular spoon for doing quenelles as well as
Cost
Other
Plus
things.
sells the best canal spoons.
They do. They do.
yeah. I mean, a
They
Lady
really do.
Hamilton will do, but you get the reverse quenelle spoon and you're golden. Things like that, and then I like to work with 2 separate knives. I've got you've seen my knife,
I have.
but I've got a very thick knife for rocking, and then I've got one for slicing.
now,
then
and now
I've got
that you're saying that knife shit, it's a vegetable knife. I guess it would fall under that category. It's more like a nikiri with a big belly. Is that what would we
there's a
call it?
name for it, and
There is a
I
name?
got to be honest, I'd never learned it.
I should know the name of that.
Yeah,
But,
I don't know
and
exactly
then
what
just
it
a
is.
chef knife, right?
No, I've got a very thin knife that's primarily used for slicing. It's got
okay.
it's got very small curve to it.
That Mercer knife, I wish we did know the name of it because
It's actually a Wusthof. but-
stuff. Yeah, but it's really nice. It's you can scoop with it.
Oh, it's incredible.
Yeah.
It's absolutely incredible. So between those 2 knives, I can do anything,
cool.
and that's my kid. I mean, that a bandana, and then we mentioned the personality as well, but that's
You leave that at home.
Oh my god!
All
You
right,
cut that out.
cut that.
just censor that part.
So yeah, too hot for podcasts here. So I got to ask because I always ask. The time has come. Where is your favorite places to eat? I hope you've got something for
shit.
me.
Yes.
We are currently in proximity to
Valentina's.
Valentina's. I like Valentina's.
Valentina's.
I will
good.
say
Kasey, have you been to Valentina's?
I haven't actually.
she lives in
I've
this
heard
town.
about it. He's told me about it, and I have not been. I
Yeah.
drove by it
You might be able to make it
last
tonight.
week, and I was like, "Oh, that's the place I gotta go."
Oh, you okay? Yeah, you should. Yes,
Yeah, it's good.
4:00. That's the time. No line.
4 p.m.
4 p.m.
All right.
If you're ever
As
out
long as
this
it's
way.
not 4 a.m., then we're good.
Yeah, no. They'll be there.
Yeah.
So Valentina's, that's a pretty solid.
I like Valentina's. As if I'm going tacos, I have to give a shout out to La Carniceria. It's a taco truck on the corner of Airport and 51st Street.
Oh, okay. I'll buy.
And they hand make their tortillas, corn and flour.
Nice.
And you can't go wrong. Yeah, I mean the wait's a little bit longer.
It's a trailer.
It's a trailer. It's a small trailer, and
it's all about the tortilla. Though,
oh man, it's nondescript. And I mean their beans, their rice, their meat, everything about it is like it's a well done taco. It's everything about it is really well done.
Sure.
That's my go-to taco trailer. Yeah, those are probably my go-to spots.
Excuse me, those are the jams, huh?
Those are the jam. I mean, I have so many jams, man. I don't know.
Yeah, you got a lot of spaces.
Like, yeah, I got.
You eat out a lot.
Yeah, I got a lot. I mean, oh man.
Well, let these guys go and come back to you. Don't be shy. Tell us.
Yeah,
people want to know. I want to know.
Keep
we don't really
ruminating.
talk about these kind of things, Kasey.
Well, I mean,
No, we don't.
no, like where do
We're
you
going
like?
deep. Honestly, Phoebe's Diner, you had them on recently.
phenomenal.
That is my jam. I think that's probably the restaurant that I have
And
frequented
that's really
the most.
close to you, right?
Well, yeah, especially for Matties, we're like a hop, skip, and a jump.
Yeah,
Yeah.
They're
But,
so friendly too. They're so friendly.
Oh my
Have
God,
you
like-
met Chef Camden?
I haven't met him. All of the servers are super nice. Like
Oh, man,
they
they're
recognize your face.
Did you listen to his episode?
That's what I was listening to on the way here. Actually.
Okay, so you know that. Did you know
I
that
hadn't-
Phoebe's was his daughter's name? Did you know that?
No,
before?
I hadn't gotten that far.
Oh shit!
You ruined it.
That's spoiler alert.
Spoiler
man.
alert.
That's a really good episode. I love that interview.
Yeah, it is really
Yeah.
good. It's a really
Well
good
done,
one.
man.
Yeah.
He came. Well, thank you. He came back again with Phil from Counter Cafe.
He
for
did?
a second episode. So.
That's the one I was listening to.
Oh, that's the one you're listening to.
Yeah,
You need to
because
go
I've been to
back and
Counter.
listen.
I
So
have
you
to
won't
listen
hear
to his
that in
first.
this one. Yeah.
Okay.
He came in before to kind of focus on Phoebe's and Liberation Kitchen, which is at the Moon Tower across the street from
Oh,
here.
no way.
Yeah.
And I live so close to everything.
So Liberation is known mostly for their fish and chips, according
Okay.
to Camden, and then Phoebe's, you know.
I just love
But you should listen to his
Absolutely
individual podcast.
I will.
He had gone through a lot. We didn't talk about any of it, and he had been through a lot of stuff in his life. And then we turned off the mics, and then he kind of told us everything, and we were like, well, it's a good thing you didn't say that before, because it was really heavy.
Changed everything.
Yeah, he had lost family members, plural. And,
Wow.
You know, so not good. But he was blowing off some steam in here, so it was good to have him. But you should listen to his other episode where it's just him solo.
Yeah.
So sorry, Phoebe's.
When I'm all right. When I'm feeling like spending a dime, I love Odd Duck.
Okay.
Like I do.
Yeah. That's not the first time that's come up.
It's great. And there's the taco truck that I can't remember.
Where is it at?
It's by us. It's off First and Live Oak. Everything is straight out of the truck. It's the best, like Al Pastor and the best migas.
So that's the one in front of Once
Cash
Over.
only. Yeah.
Yeah. That's
We're
a
gonna
good
come
spot.
back with the name, but it's the best tacos that
Oh
I.
man, I want to have a competition with these trucks. So.
Yeah.
It's fine. Jackson
All right,
goes while
so-
I look it up on my
All
phone.
right, so tacos. We're talking about tacos, taco competition. I usually keep this place a secret because I thoroughly enjoy being the only person there every time I go. But Taqueria Casa Linda on South First and Ditmar.
Not a secret. It is really good. It's really good. Really good.
I don't trust that you've been there.
Continue.
Don't mind if I do. So, all day breakfast. Their breakfast burrito is perfect.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's anything that is so comforting or enjoyable for me in life
You got the name
outside of
it.
food than a breakfast burrito. Go ahead, Kasey.
El Primo.
Oh, primo.
El Primo is
That is what
fucking
it's called.
It is good.
amazing.
It is good. It is good.
I've never been. Now we got
It is good.
Ugh, Their
is
tacos
good.
are like handmade. There's one dude in a truck. Everything is cash only, and everything is just legit.
It is really good. Also, I've been to the taco place Jackson's
have?
talking about. Oh yeah.
Did you get the
And
breakfast
and
burrito?
also you can ask for like a secret salsa that they don't have on their menu. It's fire.
Wait, are you talking about El Primo or?
No, you're.
Okay, because that's the thing that they do there. Yeah, it's on the menu. You got to ask for it.
Yeah.
It's incredible. Like their breakfast burrito. I can't say this enough. It's so good, and it's actually a hole in a wall. Like it's not advertised.
But is it actually a hole in a wall?
It's actually go look at it. It's not advertised. The gas station that it's inside of says Taqueria. It says that, but it's like who fucking cares? I mean, it's a gas station. I'm gonna go inside and get my soda. It's in like the back, and the same people are always there, and it's spotless.
I gotta ask because the breakfast burrito. What's in it?
It depends. You can get whatever you want.
Whatever you
man.
want,
Yeah,
okay.
and so egg,
But it's
bean,
perfect.
potato, chorizo. It's amazing. But
Okay,
so
where else do you go?
Other than like,
Yeah.
I just gotta
Aside from this
reiterate
one
one more
place,
time.
Jackson.
It's spotless. So I go there, I get my breakfast, I go to work. It's the perfect get you in your mindset. Like these people, it's spotless in there, man. I love it. All right, complete other side of the spectrum. I cannot say how much I love Uchi and Uchiko.
Yeah.
They blow me away every time. I love their food. It's incredible.
It's good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm glad you're not like feel like it's a cop out to say that. It's great food. People
no, it's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah.
They do
No, it's
good work.
incredible. They like Tyson Cole and his people and the many wonderful chefs who've worked for him, who have had the pleasure to work for too. They like what they did for our city is just I love those guys. It's
Sure.
amazing.
Yeah.
Outside of that, like I gotta mention since we're talking about it, but the reason that I came to Matties after like I left a restaurant that I was really happy at was that I came and had dinner, and it's just I love what we do. Like I love our food, I love our cocktails and our beer. It's great. Like I had one of my favorite meals that I've ever had at Matties. And I mean, outside of that, like I eat all around. I love Clark's. I love oysters. Like
Yeah. Clark's.
I'll go to just about anywhere. Like crawfish season, you'll catch me and David, talking shit and
Clark's is,
crushing crawfish.
Elizabeth and what the McGuire.
No,
MMA.
Clark's is on West 6th. It's west of Lamar.
Isn't that the McGuire?
Yeah, it's an MMA property, right?
Okay,
It is.
all
right.
It is. Small spot. And also,
Is that by Swedish Hill?
I don't know exactly, but it's right next door to Cafe Josie, and I've got friends who work there, and are actually our former CDC before David was one of the chefs there a long time ago. Nothing but good things to say about their food. I must have been in there 4 or 5 times by now, and every single time I'm just blown away.
Nice.
The price, the food, the service, the atmosphere, like wonderful. I love Cafe Josie.
Cool. What anybody who wants to go to Matties, what do you guys suggest? I mean, any tips? It could be menu items, times to go. I don't know.
I will just shout out the biscuits.
Biscuits.
I
Yeah.
mean,
Have you been to Olame?
so I honestly feel like
Yours are better.
pretty. We make really good biscuits.
Biscuits are incredible.
All right.
I was never a biscuit fan.
Yeah.
Like biscuits tend to be very dry, or like you'll eat one and it's good, and then your mouth feels like you've just like gnawed on sandpaper or something.
Yeah.
I just feel like we do it very well. We use fantastic Kerrygold Irish butter.
Although I was born up north, my family is from first settlers of Texas. I've got like heritage biscuit recipes in a little folder in my dad's house. Our biscuits are better. Like our biscuits are good. Also, since Kasey broke the ice, got to give a shout out. Like if you just showed up for drinks and dessert, you'd be blown away. Our dessert is such a selling point for a restaurant. It's amazing.
I've been there super late at night, and like I see things, I like feel like chills and stuff, but like I almost feel like it's become my home almost. Like I'm there more than I'm at my house.
Oh, same.
So like I will be there by myself, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, almost 3 o'clock in the morning, and it's fine.
Our cleaning crew has said that the kitchen comes alive at night.
Oh, it does. It does.
Yeah. So that same night, recently with the whistling that I heard, one of the cleaning crew members quit, said that they would never work there again because they said allegedly that they were waiting out front for other cleaning crew members to show up, and all the doors opened and then shut simultaneously.
No. All right.
That one's hard.
That one's
That's
hard.
alleged. We don't know these people.
Yeah, maybe he was just a bad guy. I don't know.
I mean, we've had like a cleaning crew that has worked there since the beginning, and we have recently switched them from they used to come during the day to night, and so our manager at the time was like showing them just again, be like, oh, okay, well, blah blah blah, and here you go, and here you go. You don't have to worry about the kitchen. And they're like, oh yeah, no. We hear that come alive. Like, we hear it at night. We're not going to do it. And she's like, what? And we're like, no, there's, like, music and, like, whistling. And they come at, like, 1 to 3 a.m.
Yeah, it's great. Like, I can note, like, I'm always noting the time when I'm there, like, late at night. And I look up and I'm like, all right, it's past, like, 12:30. Like, it's about to get a little bit weird. And, like, I kind of try to rush myself a little bit. Like, again, like, I'm not into that stuff, but...
Well, you totally are. You can't deny it. It's real.
The thing about it is,
even if you're
going to
like, be, not believing it, it's not that crazy that a property that's so old, that's in the middle of an area that's changed all around it, that
I mean,
here's the thing.
I haven't officially seen any, like, bodily apparitions, but
I've
I
never seen anything. It's only ever been things that have happened. Like,
well, the ginger beer is weird.
Oh, that completely it changed my life. To be honest with you, it changed my life. But I've never felt like that sensation before in my life because I knew that I was all alone.
Yeah.
Like, I was the only person.
It scared you.
I wouldn't even say that it scared me more than it astonished me.
Yeah.
It unsettles you.
It was sheer astonishment. And that, like, I was like, there is no possible way. Like, I had reasoned my way through everything else, and I couldn't reason my way through the fact that my cap was on. Like, who unscrews
Jackson?
Oh, you're
Fucking
yes.
Jackson does it. Yeah.
But also,
like, who does that other than Jackson? Like, no one does that. And like, I knew that was the one thing that I could not reason with myself. Like, all right, I'm done. And I left because I literally the first thing that, like, when I thought about it and I couldn't reason with it, the first thing that crossed my mind was like, I'm not going out like this. And I just I left. Like, I left, and I'm like in my car on the way, and like I called and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do this stuff. I'm
and it's not hostile.
Yeah.
It's just
But
there.
since then I've no problems.
Anything you guys want to add to this episode? Anything?
Never taunt a ghost.
Never taunt a ghost.
Nope. I will admit that.
I've heard the opposite.
Nope. Don't do it. They will fucking haunt you down.
So your approach, run. Not going out.
Whoa.
No, you can run. You can walk away, but never just be like,
he did run.
Fuck you.
The first, my first encounter with that situation, I bounced. I completely bounced, which I think is pretty reasonable. Since then, I feel like me and whatever is happening with that, I feel like me and the house are one. And I think if you're just completely chill with it, I've never come across what I think is like a
hostile,
like malicious. Like a malicious spirit. or anything.
Yeah,
Like,
they're all very docile.
yeah, I mean, as far as recapping my fucking ginger beer goes, you know that why?
Maybe
probably
you just
like,
wanted
hey,
to keep your carbonation
you
in.
lost
Yeah.
your cap, man.
Yeah.
Hey.
Hey man, put this back on.
These bubbles weren't looking so bubbly all of a sudden.
No, but
And then the chef bounced.
Yeah. Whatever's there is playful. And
Yeah.
I think my attitude is
All
that they're
12
like
of them.
dogs and like bees where they can smell fear. So you just gotta
Sure.
like, yeah, you like look them in the eye. And,
Whenever anybody says that about, dogs and bees and how you just, there's always the person who just doesn't understand that. And
Yeah.
then they run away from the bee. And then, the
Like,
bee.
you're
gets
creating the
they're
problem.
the ones that
here.
are killing the bees, man.
crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're the reason for extinction.
Yeah,
Well-
global warming.
That's not real.
No,
It's fake.
Oh.
no, it's real.
That's real. So, look,
That's
thank
for
you guys
another
for coming in.
podcast.
Yeah, it is another podcast. But thank you guys.
Yeah, thank you,
You.
Jason.
Oh, yeah. Matties
Yeah.
Green Pastures. Matties at Green Pastures.
Exactly. Yeah.
One and only.
Chef David, Kasey, and Jackson. The whole crew. You guys come back, okay?
Yeah.
So,
Next October. All right.
special.
All right. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.